Hello YouTube. I'm going to talk about the Jason Arday saga. When I first heard about Jason Arday, it was about him being a plagiarist. And so I did a bit of digging, and despite what the John Moore College, Liverpool University said, right, that they cleared him of plagiarism, or if fact this, or rather they said his thesis is still valid, and they still uphold his thesis, right? I find that to be a completely nonsensical position to take, given the evidence that was published by this person called Nathan Kovnas on a Substack article. So apparently, somebody at Cambridge had, informed Kovnas, who, to be fair, has an axe to grind with Cambridge University, but to me that's irrelevant. So Kovnas ran Jason Arday's thesis, doctorate thesis, through a software to check for plagiarism. And what he found was many paragraphs that were completely copied word for word, verbatim, or only slightly modified from another person's work. So Arday's thesis was in 2015 and the other person's work was in 2009. Okay, so to me, it's very clear what John Moore University College, or rather John Moore College London, the Liverpool University, has done, is that they have been rather, they're just dishonest, in my opinion, frankly. They didn't want to say that they didn't check artist's work. So he's definitely a plagiarist, but now that he has apparently self-deleted a lot of those racist DEI leftist grifters who say, oh, he was hounded to death by a racist white media, and there should be there's the time for reflection and everything. They're just glossing over the fact that Arday is a plagiarist. And the reason why there was such intense and prolonged media scrutiny is because Jason Arday is a gold mine of a story. Okay, he has publicly stated, I think 3 or 4 years ago in a BBC documentary, that he was autistic, diagnosed at 3, mute until 11, only managed to learn how to read and write at age 18, and then he went on to earn a PhD and became the youngest black professor in Cambridge at the age of 33 in 2023, professor of sociology or education. And what and on top of that, okay, there were really fantastical, incredible claims of running 30 marathons in 35 days, running 600 miles in 6 days, which he later changed to 12 days. That means he took a day, he ran 100 miles, took a day off, and ran 100 miles again. Okay, which is still absolutely incredible. And the other thing was, he claimed to have raised millions and millions of pounds, and which later on, when confronted, or rather asked to produce some sort of documentation, he said that it was with a group of people, 200-300 people, who had signed NDAs, so he cannot review other people. They were also, but okay, that one, but those are things that you can't really disprove. Although there are people coming out on social media claiming to be Arday's classmates, saying that, hey, he was a chatterbox, he was not mute. So he probably wasn't autistic in the first place. Apparently he went to a normal school or whatever, but he was not mute. Okay, so the other thing was, yes, he told lies that could have that is easy that that was easily debunked or rather easily checked on. Like for example, he claimed that he was a visiting professor to the Ohio State University and the University of Glasgow, visiting professor. And when people checked up, those two universities said no, he was not a visiting professor to these universities. And he also claimed to be in TV show, BBC documentary or TV show, but the TV show started and ended before he was even born. So how could he have, been in that BBC TV show called Seven Up? So obviously he's not all there. He's a better. He lies when he doesn't have to. And there were further reports that confirmed, then the other facts start coming out that either Jason Arday or the Cambridge University employed a very infamous law firm to to threaten them with a defamation suit if they publish the investigation into Arday's plagiarism, claiming it is harassment, and the London Metropolitan Police actually investigated Arday for 4 months. I mean, investigated this journalist called Jack Grove or something for 4 months. So Arday is not only a plagiarist, a habitual liar. Obviously, he has some mental problems. A lot of people will say he's narcissistic because why are you telling so many tall tales? And even if you did run those marathons and whatever, why are you telling that? To say, oh, I'm a saint, I'm Saint Jason Arday, and but then he apparently, or he or Cambridge basically threatened people when they were asking him questions about his apparent plagiarism. So, and he's dead. The leftists and the DEI people who support DEI, because obviously he's a DEI hire, he's in no way qualified to be a professor in Cambridge, saying, oh, it's racism, blah blah blah, it was white. No. He was under intense media scrutiny because he was a story gold mine. That is end of it all. Race to me has nothing to do with it. He's unwell and a pathological liar and a narcissist from what I can see, and a plagiarist to the highest degree who managed to con Cambridge. And now Cambridge University's reputation is down the tubes, completely down the tubes. Ridiculous. What a farce.